It is Friday, February 7th, and we are live on WagerTalk TV. This is Puck Time. I am Andrew. I've got Carmine and Buster with me to break down a handful of good games. And I love when we have a lot of good games here on a Friday. None of these 2 or 3 game slates. We've got a handful of games to break down, sides, totals, team totals, some props as well. And Carmine 6 and 60. And I'll beat Carmine to the punch. Only a few more days until the big game. I am excited about it as well. I am pumped, and I got a big play up in the NFL. We cashed a big play in the NHL last night, so let's keep it rolling. What's up, Buster? There he is on the screen. Get some early airtime.
Yeah.
I know if I go to you first, though, we got to go around the horn. Carm, how are you, man? Good morning.
Yeah. I'm good, Andrew. Yeah, a couple more sleeps, and it's Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. I have secured some great info, Andrew. I have a guy in my WhatsApp group that hangs out with us and comes out and watches the games. The guy's an absolute mush. If he's wearing the jersey of your team goes down in flames. So here's the thing. Uh, I I put in the chat. So what jersey are you wearing on on Sunday? He's like, I'm wearing Eagles. We quickly got him a KC jersey, so he'll be wearing a KC jersey, and let's hope that the mush continues because I can't have that happen to Dan. But back to hockey, man. Congratulations to you on a 5% winner last night. The Avalanche team total over 3.5 even money. You get the win there, a big second period for you. And Don Buster, the returning for today's show after spending a week, I think, at Guantanamo Bay, he gets. I call it the blessing from God. 3 goals in the last 4 minutes of the game. Tampa Bay, Ottawa goes over the total, a 5% winner. Buster, did you go to your local church today and donate?
I did not because I'm telling you, those gods they owe me so much with all these. I'm like 3-16 in overtimes. I'm losing games with 40 shots to 12, stuff like that. It's about time I win one of those, and it just sets me up perfect to have a huge second part of the season after this whatever stupid thing they got going for the next 2 weeks.
No, I love the Four Nations. It's not stupid, man. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to some very good hockey.
waste of
I've given it a
time.
hard time.
Waste of time.
I've given it a hard time the last couple of weeks and stuff, but it's going to fill a lot of content or a lot of days in which there's like obviously there's no hockey going on. NFL football will be done. We're just waiting for the Eagles parade plans. And speaking of football, congratulations, Josh Allen, Bills Mafia MVP player. A lot of people not happy about that. Thought it should go to Lamar Jackson, who had a great season as well too. These individual awards, man, it sometimes it comes down to a popularity contest. The MVP for me on the season was Saquon Barkley, but they don't give it to running backs, so it goes to a QB. The 6 and 60. You guys predict what the 6 and 60 will go, not in the live chat, but when the video gets posted later, and I'll have some Puck Time swag out. I went to pick it up some swag yesterday, and the store has now moved to a new location. So everyone who has won in the past over the last week or so, you will be getting your stuff. I'm going to try and pick it all up on Saturday and get the prizes out next week. Andrew, let's. I'm off a 3-1 night too. I might as well toss that in there. I usually don't pat myself on the back, but a 3-1 night. Tough luck loser with the Canes in regulation -105. I didn't lay the big number. Laid them in regulation. Didn't make a difference. They were all over Minnesota, but just couldn't get it going. All right, Buster, Winnipeg -200, New York Islanders +170. Total sits here at 5.5. You've been away for a couple of weeks, so let's go right to you for how you're going to play this one.
Well, you know what, Carmine? This 2-1 for Winnipeg. That's steep considering the Islanders have won 8 of their last 9 games, and though Winnipeg has played some great hockey themselves, they've won 7 straight, 10 of the last 12. So this is going to be the last game before the break for the Jets. and the Islanders play tomorrow. I'm not sure how much is in there. You can look at that both ways, I would think. I would think maybe you look at Winnipeg's going to go all out because it's their last game and then that's it. Or, like myself, you can look at it that you want to get one more foot on that plane and back to Mexico, or at least back to some nice hot weather for these guys. They might go to the Caribbean or who knows. But so you can look at that both ways for the Jets here. Thing here, I just can't lay. I have 200 with the Jets. Not at all. Especially when the Islanders have owned this Jets club in the past. They've actually won 9 of the last 11 games in Winnipeg. So there might be something to that. I always believe there is, even though I know it's different years, different teams and that, but you see it all the time. You'll see teams with streaks of 17 in a row in certain venues. I don't know. It just gets into guys' heads. That's how things happen. So for me, definitely think that it could be a great value play on the Islanders. Might put a little bit of pizza money on there. But again, it's Winnipeg at home is always tough. So very tough handicap here. There's only one way I could bet that would be a little pizza money on the Islanders. There's no way you can bet Winnipeg the way the Islanders are playing right now. As for the total, 5.5, as I've said on here many times, I do not bet unders on 5.5, even though this one really smells like a playoff game, a 2-1 game for sure. And if you are somebody that likes betting these 5.5 unders, well, there's some good news. The Islanders have gone under 14 of their last 17 games. Now, the Jets have played a little bit more overs in the past, but we got Hellebuyck confirmed. Looks like Sorokin's going to be in the net for the Islanders. 2 really good goaltenders. Again, this game seems to have maybe a bit of a playoff feel, or I think the Islanders are a real live dog here because I'm kind of leaning, being in Canada for the last couple of weeks, freezing my you-know-what. Oh, my goodness. I don't know how people do this. And I know Winnipeg is even colder. I got a lot of friends there, so they might want to just get out of Dodge real quick. So give me Islanders with a little pizza money here.
Right,
Buster.
Andrew, sorry. I was going to throw it to you, Andrew. I was just going to give my quick thoughts on this one because I've done most of the talking and we need to hear from you. But listen, I think the Owls are more than a live dog. I think they're going to get the win tonight. I like the plus 170 on them, and I'm going to be playing them. You can look at Winnipeg, riding that streak, but you look at the Islanders, and the Islanders have won 8 of their last 9 games. And that one game that they lost was where they called up that goalie from their Bridgeport team, the guy who was like 5-11 and 1 with a 322 goals against average, an 880 save percentage. And Florida scored, I think, in the first minute of the game, and that game was essentially over. They lose that game 6-3. With Sorokin in goal, and he's confirmed, the Islanders are 9-1 his last 10 starts in goal. This is a team that's playing extremely well right now. Do they deserve to be plus 170? No, they don't. I get it's in Winnipeg. Winnipeg is a very good team, but if they were ever ripe for the picking, it's against an Isles team playing extremely well off that win against the Golden Knights, beating them 2-1 after that loss to Florida. And, in some of the other games, obviously beating Tampa Bay, beating the Avalanche, beating Carolina. They're beating some good teams along the way, and this Winnipeg team is a good team, Andrew. So give me the plus 170 here.
I guess I'm the chalk-eating weasel today because I'm impressed by New York, but I feel like it's one of those things where, and I can't speak for you guys, if I haven't made money on New York during this streak, I think it's too late for me to jump on. We've seen it happen with a lot of these teams where they're playing well, the regression monster hits, as Brian Power likes to say, and then things start to change. And I have to give credit because those games that you listed, Carm, are all very impressive. Avalanche, Tampa, Carolina, the Knights, some of those ones are very impressive. The ones I'm not really impressed with are against Philadelphia and Columbus and against some of these middle-of-the-pack teams or below 500 teams that don't really impress me as much. Winnipeg off a 3-0 dominant, low-scoring victory. Some might say, hey, can they follow that up? Hey, I'm not sure if they can follow that up. But right now, Winnipeg is returning to their defensive name of the game type of team, and that's what makes them the best. Also, I love when you get them at home. I understand Buster says, who the hell would want to be there? Exactly. Maybe that's part of their home ice edge. They get to play somewhere that nobody else wants to go. I know a lot of people that have been around Canada, a lot of parts of Canada, never been to Winnipeg. A lot of people that are exploring our country that we live in, the three of us, or are from, don't actually go to Winnipeg because it's freezing and it's just not a lot to see there. I'm sure it is nice, but the home ice advantage, getting that last change, the crowd has been decent on the weekends. And I think when I look at this New York Islanders team, some of the games that they've been winning, their game against the Lightning, their game against the Islanders, some of these low-scoring games against the Hurricanes as well, they're all winning these games with 2 or 3 goals. I trust Winnipeg's offense. I like the way that they're playing right now overall. So there's different ways to play it. You guys know I like to get rid of these minus prices just like you guys do, except for I'm going to go ahead first period minus a half goal. The Buster special, the first period puck line plus 130 for Winnipeg to win the first period. You know, the team total I've seen like plus 110, 115. Some books even have plus 120. The team total under 2.5 for the Islanders is minus 140. So that's out of the picture. That's a little bit too hefty for me. But I just think, hats off to them for that victory against the Golden Knights. If they can sustain this and maintain this pace, all the power to them. But I think Winnipeg is ready at home, and they're a team that I want to back tonight. So first period, minus a half goal at a plus 130 number. Before we jump to the next game, I just wanted to bring something up I saw last night. This isn't betting related, I understand, but it sort of can help us with our bets a little bit. People thought that the Colorado Avalanche got fleeced in their trade when they got rid of Mikko Rantanen. Colorado fans were absolutely furious. Some of them didn't understand how good Martin Necas was. And Carm, texting you last night, I said, shout out to Martin Necas when you sent me the congrats message about hitting the 5% pick. So I wanted to put this on the screen. Drew Livingstone, producer Drew, great stuff from him. Great tweets always. These are the results so far, small scale guys, from the Hurricanes and Avalanche trade. Martin Necas, 7 games played, 3 goals, 5 assists. Drury, 7 games played, 2 goals, 4 wins for Colorado. Mikko Rantanen, 1 goal, 1 assist in 6 games. Carolina with just 2 wins during that span. I know people talk about the whole Batman, Robin, the Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen type of stuff. I'm not here to say that Mikko Rantanen can't be his own guy without McKinnon, but I don't know, man. Carm, any thoughts here? Obviously, he still is a great player, but maybe people didn't realize how good Martin Necas actually is. It's a small scale, but I thought it was worth stirring the pot a little bit and bringing this up. Any thoughts?
Yeah, my first thought is producer Drew is the second best producer behind producer Dan. But with that said, it's a couple of different offenses as well too for these guys. I mean, you have McKinnon there as well too, and it helps that power play. Rantanen's gonna. I think where Rantanen becomes important for this Carolina team is in come the playoffs. Because they're going to need that depth. They're going to need that scoring. Am I worried about short term? And you did mention short term. Sure, you'd like to see better numbers, but I'm not entirely worried about whether this deal works out or not. I think at the end of the day, we look at these two teams and they're both cup contenders. The great thing would be imagine a Carolina Colorado Stanley Cup final. There, that would be the ultimate. Rantanen scoring the game winner to win the cup against his former squad that traded him mid-season. Since we were talking about Joe Thornton getting traded mid-season as the Hart Trophy winner, but with that said, I'm not worried about it. Let's see how the rest of this season goes for this the Canes team, who are playing extremely well. On top of that, but you mentioned Colorado, so I'll throw it right back to you, Andrew. Colorado plus 165. Edmonton minus 195.
I feel remiss if we don't get Buster's thoughts a little bit here on this. Buster, I saw you kind of itching a little bit. Do you have anything?
No, it's all right. I was just going to say to Carmine, I thought we had the Dallas-LA game first, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, But you know what? I agree with Carmine. Like I think once the playoffs come, you know, he's going to step up his game for sure. He probably will. He's just getting used to, you know, some guys take to a team a lot easier than others. That's bottom line, right? Like, you know, maybe it's just he's having a tough times with things with this trade, and Natius not so much. Maybe he's happy to get out of Carolina. You don't know. You don't know what's the back and behind of why this happened or what even was able to make that happen, right? So yeah, I don't think they have anything to worry about. I think it's a great deal for both teams, and like Carmine said, it'd be pretty interesting if they made it to the Cup final between each other.
I'm seeing 185 for the Oilers at home, and the Avalanche plus 155 ballpark here. Total being at 6.5 as expected in this one. Of course, second half of back-to-back. We've talked about the Avalanche enough here. Last night, big game for Natius and McKinnon. They come out on top after a dry first period. But this Oilers team, no matter who they're playing, whether it's the Leafs or the Blackhawks, they're finding a way to win. They're finding a way to get the job done. And this team, they seem to have done a lot better job this season of not taking their foot off the gas pedal. Sure, they only beat one of the worst teams in the league by 1 goal, but they got the job done. I think the big question for us in this particular contest is how much do we care about the second half of a back-to-back? The thing that I care the most about here, Carm, isn't about the back-to-back. It's about who is in goal. And you know that I was bullish about Mackenzie Blackwood joining the team. I thought he was going to be great for them. And Scott Wedgwood has a decent goals against average, 6-5-1 on the season. He's all right. But, I think people don't give Stuart Skinner enough credit. I think that he's a pretty good goaltender, and I think that he'll win the battle between these two tonight. So getting Wedgwood as the backup, second half of a back-to-back, even though it's not the most emotional game by any means, the Avalanche did play pretty well. I'm interested to see if Edmonton can shut these guys down a little bit. But overall, I like the over in this game. I think we're going to see goals, but most importantly, I think Edmonton's going to score some goals. I'm a big believer in how important it is to have that 1A, 1B situation. And don't get me wrong, anybody, I'm not on here to say bad things about Wedgwood. It's more so me saying good things about Blackwood, Carm. And I think that there is a difference between 1A and 1B or the 1 and 2 option right now. So I think Edmonton's the move. I don't like that price on them, but this is one of those spots where I am going to buy into the second half of back-to-back, to the big win last night, to all this stuff. And you got Edmonton sitting at home waiting for you the next night. So I like Edmonton in one way, shape, or form, but I do like some goals in this game as well. But Carm, we always say it's baked into the cake, right? It's baked into the recipe, the fact that it's a backup goalie and all that stuff. But I'm just not as high on this Ratto team if Blackwood isn't in goal. What do you think?
It remains to be seen because he's not confirmed as of yet. And I know that Wedgwood had the hip injury. I don't even think he was supposed to. I'm not even sure if he was in the backup role last night. If he was, that means he's likely going to go tonight. If he wasn't in the backup role last night, then I don't see him. And we'll find out more information after the morning skate of whether he's in the starter's crease or not. But it is, and I know this is short term. It's only been about 3 games for the Edmonton Oilers, but a lot of things creeping in over these last 3 games, despite them coming back and winning 2 of them, which ailed them during that losing streak and which ailed them last year, which is falling behind early in games. You look at against Chicago, they fell behind. They had to come back. Against St. Louis, they fell behind. Against the Leafs, they fell behind at home and had to, they didn't come back in that one. They lost 4-3 with Joseph Woll playing a big part of that win for the Leafs. Fall behind against the Colorado Avalanche is going to be very tough to come back from them because as much as we talk about their offense, they're very good on the back end as well, too, I believe. And that's what makes them a cup contender. This is another one where I get it. It's a second of a back-to-back, and it's normally where I want to fade a team. But plus 165 on the Avs, I think I'm going to jump on that. And we talk about Buster, we talk about pizza money. If you take the Islanders in Colorado, two teams with very big prices as dogs, and you put that into a pizza bet, you're getting 6-1 on your money, Buster. That not only gets you a really nice pizza, that gets you probably a 12 pack of those. What is that you drink? The Miller Genuine Draft, the MGDs. That'll get you a 12 pack of MGDs as well too, along with your pizza. So I'm taking the Avs. What about you, Buster?
Yeah, Carmine, tough game here for sure. But yeah, at that price is really tough. Carolina Colorado's taking this half-hour flight, I guess it is, roughly to Edmonton. Play that Alberta double. That's always a tough thing. And this is a tough spot for Colorado, though, because now they are playing that third game in 4 nights. So that's tough. Less than 24 hours got to come to play in Edmonton. However, it's still not the best spot for Edmonton either, because it is their first home after a couple games on the road, and it's also their third game in 4 nights, although they didn't play last night. Both teams have played twice this season, and the Edmonton Oilers have won both games. So, but just Edmonton laying 185, I can't do that. I understand Carmine taking a little flyer on Colorado here. I do like the Oilers in regulation. You get them for 115 in regulation, and it is a little bit about the back-to-back. But actually, Colorado are 3-2 on back-to-backs this year. But I'm going to bring up a little interesting point. One of those losses was a back-to-back where they played the Edmonton Oilers and lost 4-1. So does that come into play here? I think it might. I do like Edmonton in regulation, but I actually, going against brother Andrew here, my favorite play of this game is the under 6.5. I mean, these two teams have played one over, one under. Colorado, actually, Carmine, you mentioned, I think that it was that Miner, that were Miner. It's not Miner. I'm not sure how they pronounce that, but he was backing up last night, and he might be a net. Although I think Wedgwood did come on the trip with them, so it's probably going to be a last-minute thing. So you might want to decide on your bet a little bit later in the afternoon when you do see who's in the net there, because if it is Wedgwood, I do really like it under. But even the other guys should be all right, because what happens when a team puts in a younger goalie or a newer goalie that hardly plays in the NHL? Well, they play a lot more better defense. And as far as defense, Colorado have been playing pretty good defense. Actually, between the clubs, the last 6 games, 4 unders, 2 overs. Colorado has gone under in 6 of their last 9 games. So there's something there with Colorado. I do like it under 6. And I do like Edmonton in regulation. My favorite play of the two would be the under 6.5, depending on who's going to be in those nets for Colorado tonight.
Yeah, and let's make sure I'm not muted as I say this, but Buster, while you were talking, I did look it up, and Trent Miner has been and I'm going to call him Miner because that's
Miner?
I think the way you pronounce it, but he has been the backup for the last 3 games. So this is one, I think, before you even think about pulling the trigger on this game, that you wait until the morning you skate and find out more. The beat reporters are always good at reporting who's going to be in goal, and it very well could be that we could see not Wedgwood, if he's not on the ice, that we could see Blackwood make the start again. Andrew, back-to-backs. I can see it because we've then got this very long break after this.
Right.
For a couple of weeks. So it's not as if you're running the guy into the ground. You give him a couple starts, and obviously travel-wise, not a big thing. It's in Alberta, so they're looking to complete the Alberta double. We'll see if that happens or not. But while we wait for that morning skate, what we do have is some prop winners from you, Andrew. Fire away.
I was happy we had a 2-0 night last night. I'm going to be honest, guys. It was a rough go the first couple of days of the week here with the prop segment, but we did go 2-0 yesterday. We did hit our shots on goal prop, and we did hit the player not to get a point with Matt Boldy. So let's try and do it again here on a Friday night. Just really quickly, guys, I know a lot of you guys said, hey, maybe that 1 year special is a bit too much and a little bit too long. So that 3-day special is still up and available. AM39 is the promo code. Get 3 days, all sports, all action for the price of one. If you are interested, we hit that 5% play last night. We got a 5% play going on Sunday for the big game. So can't wait for that. 8-0 in the playoffs with the NFL. It's a 5% player prop. Don't miss it, as the number probably will still be moving by then. And obviously a lot of good games in the NHL Friday and Saturday. Look, this angle's been working out quite well lately, guys. So if it ain't broke, we won't try and fix it. Rickard Rakell over 2.5 shots on goal from the Pittsburgh Penguins. Very simple here. No Sidney Crosby, no Evgeny Malkin. Who the hell is going to shoot for this team? Who are going to be the players that are going to be out there shooting the puck? Somebody has to. And this is a player that is not scared to shoot the puck tonight in their matchup against the Rangers, where I expect to see some goals in this game. They're going to need someone to shoot the puck. And Rickard Rakell is going to be the kind of guy to say, you know what? I look to my right, I see no Crosby. I look to my left, I see no Malkin. I'm going to go ahead and fire the puck. This team is missing goal scorers right now, and some people have to step up. I like this number on Rickard Rakell. And he's one of those guys where he pretty much plays his best hockey when everybody else around him is injured. He waits until people get hurt to step up. I like this number for him quite a bit. The next one, a guy I probably don't talk about enough on the show, and we don't talk about him on PuckTime very much, because why the hell will we be breaking down Chicago Blackhawk games here? But Connor Bedard, this guy faced a ton of criticism in his last game, a ton of criticism. And you know what? It's good to see, because the media can't always be saying good things about every single young player. But it's been real tough for him lately. I mean, he plays on a bad team. You look at San Jose with Brainy and Will Smith and those guys, they're having fun with their rebuild. Chicago's quote-unquote rebuild hasn't looked very fun. But Bedard is still a very well-rounded player, and one thing people don't realize is great about him is his passing ability. I know he's a good shooter, but giving me plus 110 with him to get an assist tonight against Nashville, I think is a good number, especially after he had a very, very bad night the game prior. He had a few dashes on his game sheet. He will not be happy about that, and he'll want to prove tonight he's not just a shooter, he's also a passer and a playmaker as well. So Bedard to record an assist tonight, and Rickard Rakell from the Penguins over 2.5 shots on goal. And once again, guys, AM39, 3 days for the price of one. Back to you, Carm.
All right, Andrew, I wish you the best of luck on those. While you were going through those, I don't want to throw the old prez. I didn't listen to anything you said. I was just grabbing some information off. And I know like Daily Faceoff is now showing Trent Miner could be starting. The morning skate isn't out as of yet. But one significant player is not in the lineup tonight, and that is Sidney Crosby. He will not be playing against the New York Rangers tonight. So if you see some money coming in on the Rangers, that has more to do with Sidney Crosby being out of the lineup tonight, per his coach. I don't think there's any trade happening, Andrew. Sid loves it in Pittsburgh. And I know a lot of us, you're a huge fan. I know a lot of us want to see Sid finish off his career with a team that can win the Stanley Cup. It's not going to happen in Pittsburgh. But he chose to stay there last season, and I think he chooses to stay there again this season, unless he looks at it that the best way to help the Pittsburgh Penguins out is for him to go somewhere where the return for the Penguins is huge as far as players, prospects, draft picks. Any thoughts before we get into this LA Kings Dallas game?
Do you know the podcast 32 Thoughts, the Sportsnet one with Elliot Friedman? Do you know that podcast? I was listening to it this morning. It's one of my favorites, and it was awesome. Sometimes they'll take voicemails from like fans and people that listen to their show, and they'll play the voicemail on the show. Some guy, he wrote a poem directed towards Sidney Crosby, and you guys got to hear it. It was really cool. And it was all this rhyming, and it was very perfect the way it was, set up. But the whole poem was based on Sidney Crosby's loyalty and how it would hurt him inside if he didn't let Sidney Crosby free. And Pittsburgh Penguins true diehard fans will not be hurt if he leaves. That's what the poem was about. This caller was a diehard Penguins fan. It was pretty cool. Like I can't remember, but it sounded great. And I think even Pittsburgh fans are coming to the realization, hey, if we're so thankful for what Crosby's done for us for all these years, he shouldn't have to feel like he needs to stay for us. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's got 3 cups. If he had 1 cup, I think he's already gone. I think he's already out the door. He has 3 cups. He's got that East Coast mentality. He's he's a good guy. He's not leaving. Like in The Wolf of Wall Street, he's not leaving. He is not leaving Pittsburgh. I don't think he is.
Okay. I agree with you, but we've seen some weird things happen. I would have never thought Rantanen gets traded
Yeah.
midseason as well too. But yeah, you're right. He does have 3 cups. Speaking of a guy who drinks out of a golden cup, Don Buster, Kings minus 115, Dallas plus or minus 105, totals 5.5. Brother, tell us how you're breaking this one down.
Okay, Carmine, Dallas comes here had a 5-game winning streak, snapped last game against lowly Anaheim. They lost 2-1 on Tuesday. They didn't really look all that great doing it either. Jeez, that was just not a good game for Dallas. Now they've spent a couple days off in La La Land, which I think this helps the Kings. I've had a couple of days off in LA, and this will probably be, of course, it'll be a close game. The line tells you it's going to be a close game. LA has won the only game between the clubs. They won 3-2 in LA on December 4th. So that gives Dallas in-season revenge. But I'm going to go the other way and look for history to repeat itself and LA to win another game in LA. Now, LA have now won 2 straight after they lost they were on a 4-game losing streak. And they can go into the break with a couple more wins here. They play Anaheim tomorrow night on a nice 4-game winning streak. So, that's something that they'll talk about in that dressing room. There's no doubt about that. And LA are the best home club in the NHL. They're 16-3-1. That is very impressive. And we get LA at basically almost a pick here in this one. So I do like LA to win this game. As for anybody that wants to be betting this total at 5.5, I will not be one of them, but I will mention a few things. The clubs have played to the under in 8 of the last 10 that they've got together, including that 3-2 game this season. Dallas is under in 6 of their last 8 on the road. I can't bet under 5.5. I'll say that, and I'll say it for the next 20 years, hopefully 20 years. And give me LA here. I like LA.
I'm muted. Here we go. Well, I was waiting to be up on the screen before I start to talk. Sometimes you give out gold like Buster does, and you just want to let him finish. But I never want to interrupt Buster when he's talking. But with that said, I find it hard on this show today that I'm going against Andrew on a couple plays, and this guy's fresh off a 5% winner. I'm going up against Buster on this game, and he's fresh off a 5% winner. I don't know, but I do like the Stars here. I think these teams are evenly matched. I think the Stars are a very good road team as well too. You look at their 3 losses over their last 10 road games, and one of them was to a very hot Ottawa Senators team. Then they lose to the Colorado Avalanche in Colorado. A lot of teams do that. Probably the one game that sticks out of the 3 losses is to the Anaheim Ducks. And I can't get the Anaheim Ducks to me, are like the Pittsburgh Penguins to Andrew a couple of years ago, where just seem to be on the wrong side of them each and every time. I like the Stars in this spot. I think they get the win, and I get it. The home record for the LA Kings, but they do lose at home. They can lose at home, and off of that loss to the Ducks, I think the Stars bounce back here. Low scoring game. Give me Dallas to win this one. 3-1, Buster. I'm throwing out the exact score, Andrew. 3-1 Dallas Stars tonight.
The exact score. That's some Prez-esque type of betting there, giving us the exact score. You know what? Well, I mean, it does help you when you're taking two teams that have no problem playing low-scoring type of hockey. But I agree with you, Carm. And as you know, I've been an absolute fiend for this plus money lately with the team totals. So I'm going LA Kings team total under 2.5 plus 110. So as long as we get under through 2.5 goals. We just see a 1-1, 2-2, and then 3-2 Dallas. Fine with me. Look, this LA team is phenomenal at home. I mean, that game I watched against the Montreal Canadiens, and I get it. My Habs aren't the most elite team. The LA Kings looked great. But one thing they are great at is their D-zone breakout. But I will say that there were still some times where they would just cycle the puck around and around and around in the offensive zone, but they wouldn't actually create offense. And Dallas is one of those teams that has depth. They can match a lot of teams line for line. Like they're one of those teams that I don't care if they're at home or they're on the road. I don't care if they have the last change or not. They have that much depth that it doesn't bother me very much. They have a ton of goal scorers. And when you talk about bouncing back, when you talk about motivation, well, that loss against the Ducks, they'll be pissed about that loss. And they're a veteran-built team that will want to bounce back. But how do they bounce back? Well, Jake Ottinger, the defense, the two-way forwards, they bounce back defensively. Plus 110, team total under 2.5 LA Kings. If I see Dallas win 4-3, you guys won't hear from me for a week and a half because I'm chasing that plus money on the team total under 2.5. And the Four Nations tournament is coming up, so you guys won't see me too much on WagerTalk TV. But hopefully we'll see a good low-scoring victory for the Dallas Stars from where I'm seeing this game anyway. I will have some picks up on Saturday, but that won't be for a little while. And Carm is always ahead of the game, always ready, and always looking at Saturday's slate, I think earlier than anybody, with some 6 and 60 picks. Carm, what do you have for us?
Yeah, before I get into 6 and 60, Andrew, the exact scores, here's a quick little story from yesterday I'm going to mention. A good friend of ours, as I've mentioned on the show quite a few times, Rob Braley, who's a friend of Buster's as well too. He sends me a message just before puck time yesterday and says, "How do we bet this Liverpool FA Cup game, semifinal against Tottenham?" And I sent him a message and I said, "You're just going to bet Liverpool to win exactly 4-0 plus 950." And how did the game finish? Liverpool 4-0 plus 950 cashes. So sometimes you get it right with these exact scores. Now, if I could get this 6 and 60 completely right, we are going to have a monster day on Saturday. And with that said, Dan, let's get that clock that always seems to beat me up on the screen. All right, Utah and Carolina. We're going to take Carolina in regulation. Canes are off a tough loss to Mini, and back home where they have the #1 record at home in the Eastern Conference. Devils and Canadians. Devils money line. Devils are 18-5. The last 23 visits to Canada. The last one being 2 weeks ago, beating Montreal 4-3. Pittsburgh and Philly. Philly of a money line in this one. Pittsburgh second of a back-to-back, and Flyers looked good despite losing to Philadelphia on Thursday. Chicago and St. Louis. St. Louis in regulation. Hawks second of a back-to-back. 2-15 run. Their last 17 on the road. 13 of those losses came in regulation. Seattle and Calgary. Calgary money line. Flames look good despite losing to the Avs at home on Thursday. Kraken, second worst road team in the Western Conference. Finally, Buffalo and Nashville. Top two teams profit-wise last 10 games when betting the over. Let's take the over in that one. That's your 6 and 60.
With time to spare. With
Where's
time
the
to
crowd?
spare. No
Man,
crowd
where's
noise
the
today.
cheering crowd?
No.
I was waiting for that. But
there you go. There's some sound effects.
Honestly,
There's some sound effects.
There you go. Honestly, I do like this 6 and 60 this week as we head into the final weekend before the obviously before the Four Nations break. So hopefully we can get some winners out of this one, guys. Wait till this video is posted, which should be in about probably 15, 20 minutes after the show goes off the air. Let me know what you think the 6-60 record is amongst those who actually get it right. I will draw one name and you get some Puck Time swag. So let's hope for a 6-0 day, but I'll take any 6-0, 5-1, 4-2, anything that puts a little bit of money in your pockets as well too. With that said, Buster, it is time for our show free plays. Tell us what you have up at WagerTalk on this big weekend and give us a show winner.
Okay, thank you, Carmine. Good luck with that 6-60. Still have that great deal that Andrew was mentioning there. You get a whole year, you can save $800. That includes everything, 5% plays. And for tonight, we do have a 4% best bet in the NHL that's loaded at the site. And we also have a 4% best bet for the Super Bowl. It's a prop play that we've loaded earlier in the week. And you can get that play for only $5. So head on over there before that number changes a little bit more. But right now it's staying pretty consistent. So grab that play. Really like that play for $5. Our show play for today is going to be from the Pittsburgh New York Ranger game, and we're going to take Adam Fox over 1.5 shots on goal, minus 148. Now, it is a little bit chalky, but it is for a good reason, because Adam has gone over in 7 of his last 8 games against Pittsburgh. He seems to play very well against this Penguin club. He's on the number 1 power play, which we always like to have when the guy, even if you're, of course, using points, but even more so when you're getting shots on goal. Only needed a couple. I think he does it tonight. So that's Adam Fox over 1.5 shots on goal for tonight's game with New York and Pittsburgh. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Carmine. Thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you guys. And I know the break is coming up. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to watching this crap that they're going to put up there. I never really liked any of that kind of stuff. It means nothing, literally nothing. So anyways, best of luck with everybody with all your plays, the props, the Super Bowl. We're all looking forward to it. And as always, have a great weekend, everyone.
Mister, always good to see you, man. This time off has actually made you look younger. You're kind of like the Benjamin Button of Puck Time. You are going in the opposite direction. By the time the playoffs roll around, you'll be a 18-year-old man hitting the nightclubs here in Toronto or down in Mexico. So we always appreciate you having you on the show, and congratulations on that 5% winner once again, and best of luck to you this weekend. Andrew, I'll go next, and then you can close it out for us. I have a couple promos up. You can get a $30 off a 7-day all-access package using CB30. CB30 gets you, like I said, $30 off a 7-day, knocks it from $99 down to $69, so you're paying less than $10 a day. It's a great deal. With NHL, the football Super Bowl this weekend, and then a ton of Champions League action next week. And if I release any 4 nations, you'll get those plays as well too. Or a 30-day all access with CB100, and that gets you $100 off of the price of a 30-day all access. My best bet, I'm going to go to that prop that died a little while ago this week. Chicago and Nashville, first period over. It had been 11 straight wins for Chicago at home to the over 1.5 in the first period before that game against the Edmonton Oilers. Nashville's in town. They've gone over the total in 4 of the last 5 road games. I'm going to take over 1.5 first period, minus 130, and look for this streak to continue. 11-1 the last 12 is still a great run, and 21-6 on the season first period overs for this Chicago team. Let's see if that trend continues tonight with some goals in that first period. Andrew, I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl, man. Rob, if you're watching this, and I know you are, do not wear the Eagles jersey. Wear the Kansas City jersey, and I'll buy your first couple rounds of beers. We need you to mush Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Andrew, over to you.
Hey, Carmen, maybe we can figure out some type of like behind the scenes handshake deal to go splits on our squares for the big game. You know what I mean? We'll see. I don't know what your numbers are. We'll see. Well, hopefully one of us comes out on top. Hopefully we can all make some money on the big game. I'm excited for it. Really looking forward to it. But Carmen, as they always say, a streak is only broken once it's lost twice. So that first period over, right back on. I'm with you on that first period over. I like that one as well. For my best bet for the show, I'm just going to mention that I think that some teams you want to bet on the game after they lose their star player, or even 2 games after they lose their star player. The Penguins aren't one of them. They aren't one of them. I mean, look, in a point spread sport, you can bet on a team without their star quarterback. You're going to get value in the betting line. I don't know. I mean, obviously, we've seen the New York Rangers numbers shoot up since we've seen the official announcement Sidney Crosby will not be in tonight. But when you've got no Malkin, no Sidney Crosby, pretty much no goal scoring, this team is about as top heavy as it can get. I don't like what I see from this lineup tonight. New York Rangers are motivated. They're playoff hungry. Every single game, especially before this break, means something to them. You guys know where I'm going with this. Team total, minus 105 on the Rangers. Shop around, get the best price possible. I am seeing some minus 110s. I believe the Rangers are the play tonight, but you want to make sure you're getting that best number that you possibly can get. AM39, guys, all you have to know for me, 3 days for the price of one. Forget about buying one play. Forget about buying a $25 play, $35 play. Get every play for 3 days for $39. Friday night, all day Saturday, Saturday night, all day Sunday. Join me right here at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, great show on a Friday. Always nice to have some good quality games to break down. Good to see Buster as always, and always good breaking down games with Carmine. All right, guys, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to our channel. Enjoy the games. Make sure you're betting responsibly. We'll see you next time right here on Puck Time.